What's going on, team? Proof here, and today I'm coming at you with the deck profile and then the gameplay footage for the good end deck that I played at locals this past Wednesday. And the deck kind of came about because I wasn't expecting to play premium at locals, but it kind of just came about because we wanted something else to play. So I ended up taking pretty much my standard deck that I've been using and then changed out a few triggers, and then it came up with a good end deck. And it was pretty okay because I've been testing good end with basically a standard shell around it by changing out some of the few cards here and there. The key difference you're going to see when I get to the grade zeros is that I didn't have my Mecha Analyzer starter, which is right here. Accidentally left it at home because I wasn't expecting to play premium. So it wasn't in the deck, so I used regular Mecha Trainer. So I'll talk about it when I get there, just see talk about how things felt. But I'm gonna go from the grade 3s to the grade 0s, and I'm gonna talk about the G zone that I used. And one quick note before I go into the deck, the cards, they're gonna be in Japanese or English depending on what I have on my computer at the time, because I tried to get the English ones from the wiki that I didn't have already, but for whatever reason they weren't loaded into the presentation okay, and I already had it set up beforehand, so I figured I didn't want to redo everything just to account for a few Japanese cards or a few English cards. And I'm going to assume you know what the cards do, but if you don't, definitely consult the wiki by searching up the name and see what the cards do. So let's go and hop into it. So for the grade 3s, I have 4 Bull Spike and 4 Bad End Dragger, because the way that I play the deck is I'm going to stay on grade 2 for as long as I can and force my opponent to ride up first while having Counter Blast available to be able to use a good end. Because good end only needs one Counter Blast to function at the very least, and then every other Counter Blast you have makes your bad ends that much more potent, because his ability uses one Counter Blast and it kind of intermingles with some of the other cards within the deck. But you mainly need these grade 3s because for the good end combo you want to have Bull Spike in your deck to be able to ride it, and having 4 of them increases your odds of being able to not drive checking it and keeping 1 in deck for you to be able to use it. And then for the grade 2s, we got 4 Ronaldo, 4 Bracky, and 4 Bouncer. And Ronaldo is there because even though you may not use his skill early, you want to have it available in case your opponent gives you a bunch of counter blasts and you don't have a good field present. Ronaldo here will be able to get you a board, because when you're on good end or any other stride for that matter, you'll be able to look at the top 4 cards of your deck and then you can call 3 of them. So you pretty much counter blast 1, make a board, and that pretty much helps out any stride that you have, especially especially good end, because to be able to use his double ride combo, you need to have a full board available, and Ronaldo is the easiest way to get you there. And Bracky is just free power. It helps your early game aggression. You may not use his skill for the search because it might die, but something that I've noticed is that all your top check skills can help you put cards to the bottom that you want to search out. So your Bull Spikes, your bad ends, you can see them on your top checks and put them to the bottom to be able to make sure that they're there for your good end combo. And by Bracky shuffling your deck up, you can ruin your quote unquote bottom stack. Just to be able to, I can ruin it so that way they're distributed back into the deck, so you might drive check them or damage check them before you're ready to pop off with your combo. So you can weigh the pros and cons of doing that, but soul isn't an issue for Bull Spike once you do the combo, so you can see if you want to use Bracky there, especially if you know that some of your top checks, like your gyros, which I'll get to, and Ronaldo or Bouncer himself, put cards to the bottom you want to search out later. And then Bouncer here is a different version of Ronaldo to be able to get you an additional unit on board once you're ready to pop off, but it also makes a good key piece for your grade 2 game, just because it could be a card you can attack with and then counter blast and put to the soul to draw a card to force your opponent to attack your Vanguard, or it could be something to help out Bull Spike later by being able to be soul blasted out for his skill. And then for the grade 1s, I got 4 Punter, 4 Ganon, 4 Gyro, and then 2 Snapper Devil. So offensive punter is a little bit awkward if you're using Mecha Analyzer as your starter, but it works great if you're using OG Mecha Trainer as your, or I'm sorry, new Mecha Trainer as your starter, because it can help stay in Soul and be able to use the Soul Blast skill to help you filter. But in the early game, it can help be called off from Soul as a free unit, and it can help you draw you your cards, because even though you want to see particular cards on the bottom of your deck, you still want to be able to get stride fodder. So you want to get maybe an additional bull spike, but you definitely want to see Bat and Drag as your first ride. So Punter and Ganon here operate to be able to get you to filter out your, not to filter your hand out and your deck out, just to be able to see Bat and Dragger on time, because your gameplay and your deck gets a lot more, it gets less potent if you don't ride Batten first for the good in combo. Agrius is really good as a stride, but you definitely want to try to put yourself in a position to go into good in first. So that's what the deck pretty much is designed to do. And then Jowl Slinger here, his chief operation is a free card to help check out your top cards of your deck. And you're going to be looking for specifically Mecha Instructor, which is the stand trigger in the Gray Zeros, which I'll get to in a second. But being able to put a card from your hand to the soul and look at the top cards of your deck is part of the top check system to be able to put cards to the bottom. But you're looking for the Mecha Instructor, because he's a key piece for your good in combo. And if you get it when you look at your top cards of your deck and you put them in charge, it's a free way to be able to get your combo off, which puts less constraint on your counterblast. And then Snapper Devil here is just a holdover from the standard deck that I've been trying, but it does do pretty well in that if you go second and you ride him, he has an on-hit ability, which is you draw a card. So you get him plus Ganon or Punter, and I doubt there's going to be some situations where you'll ride Devil over Punter, and then you can use Punter to Soul Blast out and filter if you have Mecha new Mecha Trainer sitting in Soul. But ideally you want to go Snapper Devil within Ganon, and that way you can see 4 cards between your draw step, your single drive, and then actually draw, single drive, Snapper hitting, and then Ganon hitting. So you see 5 cards. So if you have those two together and Snapper Devil hits, and with Ganon boosting it, you can see over the course of that one turn 5 cards to be able to try to get Bat and Dragger into your hand. So you basically get like a free mulligan just to look for Bat and Dragger, as long as you know you have Snapper plus Ganon in that same column. So Ganon plus Devil makes 16 together, which makes it awkward for your opponent to want to guard it for a 1 to pass, because your chances of hitting the trigger are the highest early on in the game, until you filter out your deck, of course. So it makes them want to, if they have 20k heals, they might commit that early, which helps you out later because it gets out a potential G-guard out of your opponent's hand that early on in the game. So those things you want to think about when you're playing them together like that. If you choose to, you can take out the Snapper Devils here and maybe play more grade 3s, or play Stride Fodder, or play Wonder Boy, because even though Wonder Boy is not in the deck, he's very good at being able to put cards to the bottom of your deck for your good in combo. So say you ride Bat in, Stride, Bull Spike, from there you can call Wonder Boy and put that Bull Spike you strode with to the bottom of your deck, so you can search it out for good in. So those things like that. But with the way I had it set up, I chose not to put back in Wonder Boy, but he has very strong applications for what you want to do as well. So it's something you want to think about. And then for the grade zeros, we got 4 slot back, 4 instructor, 4 draw triggers in Maryland, and then 4 regular 20k V heals. And then of course we have Mecha Trainer, which I talked about a little bit ago. So slot back here, while being awkward with Good and Dragger because you can't use them together, he does work with every other stride you want to go into. So that's why I play it, for the crit chance to make your opponent respect your Vanguard that much more, and because it can buff up the power of your Vanguard as well as you're going into your drive checks. And then Mech Instructor here is arguably the most important trigger in the deck, because he combos with Good in, because he doesn't need to be charging to do his skill to bind a card and then call it back out to your rear guard circle. And that's an important distinction there, because Bat and Dragger's counterblast skill puts a card to the bottom of your deck. So if you put Mecha Instructor to the bottom of your deck through Bat End skill, you can bind another Bat End call it back out, and then it can attack again while you're shifting around your force markers through Bull Spike's Soul Blast ability. And he puts a card from your hand into the soul for that, so it can feed into your Bull Spike in and of itself. So a lot of your top checks are going to be looking for Mecha Instructor as part of what they're doing. So if you play Ronaldo, Counterblast, do his skill, you're going to be looking for Instructor. And then if you call out Gyro Slinger, you might do it again to look at 8 cards to try to find Instructor, because it extends your combo as well to turn 5 attacks into 6 attacks. And that's where Mecha Analyzer, the starter, comes into play. Even though I didn't have it, it operates as another way to extend your attack combo. And then Optimal Combo uses both Analyzer and Instructor at the same time with your 2 Baton Draggers to get 7 attacks off while shifting around your force markers. Everything else around that, your draw triggers to protect yourself, your heal triggers to protect yourself while being important early game to help you maybe not die to your opponent being more aggressive than you expected, things like that. But surrounding all that, you want to try to live to get your combo off using the Mecha Instructors, and that's where it's important. Then for the G Zone, we got 1 good end dragger. I've used to advocate for 2, but as time has gone on, I've just taken it down to 1 to add an additional G Zone space, because you're likely not going to have the time or the resources to ride a secondary bad end dragger and go into good end another time around. 4 Agrius, because I can't, since this isn't a combo deck in terms of like trying to get to Hellhard 8, you are less likely to play 2 Agrius and want to go to full 4, because it can still operate as a good stride early on. It does lose some potency because you don't play Juggernaut Maximum, which is a very, very good rear guard to use with Agrius, but you still have the force marker and you still have all your other pieces to go along with it, so it can still be pretty good just for getting the guaranteed 5 attacks off. 2 Rising Supernova, because with the Mecha Instructor in your deck, it's a free way to get 4 attacks off. That's the main reason it's there, is so that if your opponent tries to damage deny you, but you have them in kill range, so they're like 5 damage or something like that, you can go into Supernova and get 4 attacks off using your Mecha Instructor that you call out from hand. And then we got 2 Violence Ace here as a backup stride, just to help you regather some resources while attacking. So that's the main reason it's here. It's not as good as it would be in like the 12 stand version that I talked about a long time ago, but you can still have it in there just to help recoup some resources. You probably could go down to 1 because it doesn't persona flip, but something to think about there. I'm still looking into it, into that particular piece of it, because I haven't really gone into it that much since I've included it, so I might be ticking it down to 1. And then I did kind of stack them up here, but behind we got Dirty Picaro as a backup finisher stride, because it can help call out a board with Mecha Instructors, and since they're free, you can just use them to get 5 attacks off for 2 counterblasts basically. And then we got Hellhard 8, which is a card you will always have in your Spike G Zone in case it becomes needed, but the aim for this deck isn't to accelerate into it like some of the other versions of Spikes, which I'm going to be looking into later. But it's still there because he's the best GB8 that's going out right now. And then we have 2 Linus for Big Guard. Then we have 1 Rack Tomb for filtering, help you maybe get stride fodder for the next turn. 1 Gase, because it can help put grade 3s back to the bottom, or other key pieces you may want to search out, but ideally you're going to be putting grade 3s back. And then we have 1 Dismal, just to protect a key piece, maybe like a Bracky or something you want to stick around for next turn. So that'll do it for the deck. I hope I explained it well, and look out for the gameplay and look out for where Analyzer would have been good versus having Mecha new Mecha Trainer, because there are people that may want to still play new Mecha Trainer for his ability to draw over having Analyzer. I prefer Analyzer because I like the attack extension, but those, like, this is just, I'm giving you an example. I'm not telling you that you have to play one or the other, but you can look out to see which one you prefer. So hope you guys enjoyed this, enjoy the gameplay, and I see you guys in the next one. So peace, be easy.
What you do, that's what you do. What you do, that's what you do. And I know what you do. That's right. Okay, I guess we are. Hot one of us. Hot. We do.
Hot damn tonight.
Hot damn tonight.
Dead run.
Hot. 10. Yeah, I was looking at my hand to see if I need to leave it.
No.
Good turn.
What did you drive check, girl?
Another Ronaldo.
I have plenty of other things I
Hot.
can do. Next question. Like,
All
you guys checking out, you know,
All the other good ones.
standard
No.
playable again.
Oh, yeah.
I got
What do you
lots. Not that I can work actually.
Did you save all this?
Why are you pulling it there?
Okay.
You put on a finger.
Sorry. I was reading it and I just called it. Oh, cool. Hot.
This is no way a competitive deck. This is just a fun deck I put together for premium.
No disclaimers here. It's on camera. It's all competitive.
Wow. No.
Yeah,
It's
do
a
it.
trigger. Oh, what you need.
How long ago did it fall out? Like a long time ago? Okay, so long. Yeah. Yeah. You're not Tennessee.
Alright, boys. I'm out. Later, man. 20?
And I also don't have my next message. And I told them on Sunday night. 4 to 7 days, I think the standard, so they may or may not.
Train boy!
Yeah, still, I think it's still going to be that way. And basically be like, okay, well, it's...
I know.
You mean we want to slap you?
I 100% just did it and then looked at you.
Keep.
This weekend, like an hour of Sundays.
30,000 correct.
Not yet. Are you coming to this?
Happens.
I just had one. I need one more.
Alright, he's in dead zone.
Yeah. He's in dead zone.
Once he has 3, he's in dead zone.
Ooh, I like this card.
Yes.
If they're not, you know.
Try to keep that as long as possible.
I'd rather play Estimate.
You're about to take a lot, Dick, but
I'm about to go to 5. Wait, that's not Agnes. I forgot what that new strike do.
I'm going to find out today.
What's his new strike do again?
That's not new. That's like from 2016.
Oh, December. Okay, I know what it is. You're doing, so get that break ride, so get that
the reason, so that grade 2 you were looking for, the reason why he's in there is because of this.
Yeah.
You'll be able to get past this terminal problem.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I just can't believe...
I know.
What do you do?
You don't have the promos here.
Okay, I That's
I used to wear having analyzer would have been really good.
I got
That's useless in this matchup.
It's because you might run into category. And burn all your shit.
So good at charge. Not charged yet, but it's gonna be charged.
You never put it in the soul. Huh? You put it in the soul.
Blank? Oh, that's why I cut your deck. Charge!
Call him. I dare you.
Charge!
He's stuck in a possibility.
28.
30?
You can't have to charge it. Yes. I didn't know that.
28?
Oh yeah, that card is nuts.
Drink for the game.
So instead.
That's 5.
Dude, that was like triple cascade.
Power maker. I might have chill.
Good in skill?
Oh my god, yeah, let's go. So over. Yeah.
Whatever, got the rewrite.
And then discard.
You want both of these?
Yeah, I know. I did that. And then
Oh, yeah.
Dude, oh my god, I'm so good.
So what's happening now?
So,
He's using those two to ride.
Yeah.
so I can't call they both ride. So he rides on that, and then he rides on this. Since the bad ends were rigging on, the skill activates to be called from soul. And then I get gifts.
Alright. But he comes back at rest, right?
Yeah, these are at rest.
Cute. Alright.
Oh my god.
These need to be on the other side. So
That was a really good draw.
Soul Blast to shift all this over here.
That was like.
And then this is 43 plus 19.
Yeah.
62.
323.
Yeah. Like, yeah, you can imagine a scenario where like relying on awards so heavily that you do that. You can sacrifice the creature. Yeah, exactly. I mean, unless you have one board and a bunch of other.
Overthink. We have other cards too.
Oh yeah, I'm just looking at one shit.
He gets plus 10 if it's over 35.
Yeah, exactly.
Does that get me anywhere? 23, 38, 62.
Yep.
If there's any argument, any deck with like an argument,
38 to his 62.
And then hopefully get the.
Oh, I forgot this what this 2 does.
Yeah. That's why he's in there. So it becomes 25.
25, 35, 48.
turn 1, turn 2, and
Plus 25.
63.
I mean, I guess, but
What's he
they
doing?
do, but it's
So
just
plus
like,
15. It becomes 20k shield.
draw surprise.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like if you have any room of like,
Wait, this one.
that's all I gotta do when I go
Start
home.
this.
Slide.
I mean, if you lose the draw check.
Skill.
Yeah,
This returns. This skill activates.
What's this go?
When he returns back to deck, put a card from my hand to the soul, bind the unit, call it.
That wasn't in.
It doesn't have to be in charge. It just has to return back to the deck.
What? No, don't bullshit me with that.
It says when it returns.
But it wasn't in charge.
It doesn't have to be. It doesn't say while charging, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, I'm thinking it had to be. He's right.
I'm about to die.
So then he gets plus 5, 43, 48, 56.
That's gonna be
Low spike, doesn't hit, draw, retired dude. Attack.
I forgot about that.
I didn't know about that.
Otherwise, you would have killed him next turn.
Game 2, girl.
Hi, Clash.
What's good, stream?
Wait, did we get the reveal yet for today?
I got the reveal card.
Go ahead, girl.
Oh, you mean that card?
That being garbage?
In the battle, kind of last one put in the soul, draw a card.
She's
give
great.
you a
I
gift
got a
card.
9K. Oh, push road, you're killing me.
Bro, I know how's the 9K. Leave me alone.
You will not see your triple R anything higher until Friday.
I mean, I know that. I'm just upset that this card is a 9K instead of a 10K and a 4.
Bunch of more cents of a 9K.
That's not the point.
It gives power and it draws you a card.
It costs a counter blast.
It goes into soul.
I don't need souls.
You do some deck building.
Okay.
Alright. See you next year. Bye.
Yep, pretty much.
I'll see you before then.
Maybe. Possible.
I will.
Invite me to Housedale,
I'm
Jason.
gonna call out of work.
Yep, exactly.
Hey,
Yes, you are.
see you next year.
I'll see you sooner than that.
He about to sneak in my bedroom.
Hey, I ain't got to sneak, girl. You can leave the door open.
Saying,
Sir, stay down, please. Okay, he didn't stay down.
Trying to get my dig on.
Did this man just...
This man's not paying cost.
I don't want your damage tonight. I know what format this is. 10. Skill. Put it there. And there it is. Draw. So I did it anyway. Yes.
Oh, baby. Send it to him. Imaginary gift Colts 2.
I'm taking all that. I'm taking it all.
Skill House School. Yeah, buddy. Get that grade 3.
Oh, you tried?
you find that is his own.
Yeah, that's that shit. Plus 20 in a cruise. Oh, no, don't be that fucking big. You can't do it.
Oh, yes, I can. No, that's GD2. Hey, at least I'm knowing what skills do, kind of. So I can't play shit like this. Shit that's one punch, I'm like, bet, every turn I need to try to one punch.
Get it in.
Exactly.
Cool. A lot with crit 3.
Yeah.
33. 3 damage. PG or take this. Crit boost. Crit boost. Wow.
2, 3, 4.
So good.
So for that rewarded. Go ahead.
Told you I was taking it all.
My thigh just like spasmed. Yeah, that was weird. I looked like something happened. Alright. I'm about to put it in your butt.
Man, he came at the wrong time.
Oh, what's up, girl? I haven't seen you in a while. You looking cute.
Did you hear the news? Where's the Walgreens?
I'm a pharmacy tech.
Did you hear the news?
Would you be surprised if I was a nurse?
No, I didn't know if you. I didn't hear you were trying to become a nurse, so that's why I was surprised.
I still got time, girl. I still got time. Old people love me. Can you stop double riding on me?
Omni's been dead. Nobody goes.
And now this place is dead for like 6 weeks.
Starts at 6, so we're probably heading out like 5. I think a lot of people lost faith in this after that announcement.
Well, it's unfortunate. I lost a lot of faith. Change natures and current
Oh, no. I'm about to die.
I enjoy premium a lot more than I do standard.
Yeah, that's what I came like 2 weeks in a row and I like 3 and I was like, alright.
What, in standard? I was there for one of those.
Feels like you have more
When you got
interaction.
Ezra.
You're not going to die.
I actually just like playing with the old cards. I like just playing with the old cards. You've got a lot of many hours.
We gave like
24.
Everything?
They just have it.
Thinking. What's happening? How much is that?
24. You guys thinking about coming back?
28.
I mean, I'll always play it.
20?
Stuff, and I'll get decks that I want. I like. It's just. I'm not. It's gonna change
33.
to what it was.
Right, 3 wins?
I'm not gonna buy a deck every freaking month.
33.
I'm just trying to SP out spikes and just call it a day.
How many colors? Just 2. I mean, I was able to play freaking Oracles for like the entire way until like
I know Sean said he was going to start playing again. I don't know how that's going.
they're gonna price do whatever they want. I've been playing so much Warhammer.
I know.
I need to actually start playing. Yeah.
No, but I think we're going to
they had a big world campaign for a while, but I don't think it was flourishing anymore. But there is one like
Oh, yeah. I hear it on the radio.
yeah, that's true. Okay, yeah, but I was going for exit that there.
Middle fucking nowhere.
No, it's not in the middle of nowhere. It's near the exit. It's like right off the exit. So it's like.
All right, sir. You want me?
I hope so.
Yeah, it's around the East Windsor area.
You know, like the it's like right down the street from that car.
Excuse me.
Whatever. I have so much value in this card still. And I was just going through it. I want to try. I have like stacks up the gear. I even joked. I had like 4 or 5 stacks up the gear. Oh yeah, dude, when we were playing the Spirits.
Hopefully they're not like 10 cent hollows.
Care about the number?
Oh my god.
Get a shit ton of D-triggers.
Thank you.
Going with me or ref?
Where's Ref? Where's you?
Leave it.
Give me a few minutes. You can take me home?
This is probably the last game anyway.
Probably gonna come to your house. I don't know if you want to do all that. I mean, it's closer. Yeah, actually, my girl's house is closer than you driving to my house.
Okay.
I told you. I'm gonna die from hitting no day triggers. You don't let me strike.
No.
I drew that. This turned into the last 2-3 sets.
As long as you did significant damage to your unit.
2 damage.
I do heal. We live.
Nice.
33.
Not banned.
Certain cards like that crit.
You're the one who had stands that
The story starts with turn 1 scales, turn 2 snake. Sure.
They also needed to hit Noobs too, because Noobs was
He also drew the word
That's true too. Well, they also should have hit that too.
So many of them had auto counters. Like, those two these destroyed so many strong decks and got half
48, 2 crit.
So my 33.
I think there was a lot of difference at the end.
discarding these two? Am I like keeping this one and discarding these two?
Wait, how much do you have to guard?
15.
You need 15?
He needs 20. 20.
How much are you?
48.
Oh, am I 33? Oh, I do need 20. Okay, they all good. I guess. No, I only need 20, right? Yeah. Okay, so these two are gone. I don't got no other option.
Fine. Top deck a 1 or a 2,
Yes,
you
I
win.
do. Can I guard with these guys?
No, leave it.
All right.
Top deck a. Oh, wait. You keep the 2. Yeah. Get a 1. You win.
I go.
Get to 0. Now,
That
I
is a
don't
decision
know.
now.
Probably about 40, 50, 60. 6. Balls deep. No.
You sure? For 6, yeah, you're right.
No.
No.
Ride.
Yeah, so we're doing it like that. Okay.
What? No.
Ew! You want to do that? Bet. I go whatever Iggy goes.
This is my fun preview deck.
I probably won't see you guys until the new year.
When your G units try to inflict costs, you do choose one of the Vanguards against plus 12.
Yeah, so let's
I'll take it, though.
You'll take it? Yeah. Alright, get him out. So that's one.
Later, man.
Nerd. Nerd. Nerd.
Later, guys. You were like drawing everything you needed. He was like, no. He had that in his own brain. So nasty.
Yeah, 13.
Oh my god.
How big is he about to be?
Big.
How big?
It's at 40 right now. It's gonna go to 60 with 6 drive checks.
I gotta get to 80 to reach that. I need 2 D-Trick, 2 tech hits. Yeah, but he don't get the power for GB3.
But does he need to flip to do anything?
Like swing and then flip.
You need GB3 for flip.
Okay.
What do you mean?
So GB3 for the power from the flip.
Yeah, for the power from the
Okay.
You just 80 the restand.
13 Vanguard. I have Master Race. Oh, did they play 3 or 4? Because I never bought my 4th Master Race.
Lock that.
You found a win from this.
Count them up. Sold. Plus 10. Plus 1 drive.
Infinite mana with Talentron. I had mana flare and a Perpetual Spring. Like infinite mana, infinite bounce.
Yep.
And a mana 6.
Plus 10. Plus a drive.
So I was gonna do it against the like
20k to restand. 6 drive checks. Count plus 4.
infinite 2
Top card.
infinite swing.
Doesn't matter.
It's like
Oh, here we go.
from the
Offense.
onset. It's
From the
infinite
onset,
5.
isn't it?
I made
Yeah.
infinite 2. And then like a 3 billion
4,
power
5. Wow! That's some bullshit. Actually, it was 1 crit to win too on top of it.
Turn
2 damage. Okay, now you lose. You were 10k short.
turn 4.
That's unfortunate.
Pick up everything and replace.
And I drew a crit. I drew the crit.
Ah, you drew the crit. Fuck. No,
That's really unfortunate.
that sucks.
Next round wasn't even a crit.
I mean, are you set?
No. No, not.
I don't have as much in this deck as I thought.
You saw how many normal
Honestly, I was expecting him to restand.
You should have been more scared of the crit.
I was dead regardless.
Oh.
If you checked the crit, I was dead. I had to help him heal.
I got a trigger in 6 checks. I needed 2.
It's not nearly as good as it was like
That was the right play though to beat the silly shenanigans.
day 1. It was really good, and now
Though this actually was.
I wanted to do that to guarantee the restand.
I'm okay with not spending money.
It's 6. Come on, 6 drive checks. You kind of expect it.
Saffron Island posted $40.
Full.
Yep, Starbucks very good. Yeah.
Cool.
They do, yeah, they focus a lot more on
I love how everybody bitched that you was 13.
No matter.
You still won.
You still won.
I'll do it. Just to see.
All heals.
Didn't matter. That's charging.
No, it's not.
It's not? Isn't it? If it's called by a skill, isn't it
Bro,
charging?
it is charging.
It's a choice.
Put it.
Put it in charge.
No.
Put it in charge.
I refuse.
Plus 5.
Are you really not putting it in charge?
No, I'm not.
Put it in charge.
Charge it. Oh.
He is not in charge. You're in charge.
We're all in charge.
So good.
23.
At easy guard, easy life.
Draw.
So good at draw the trigger.
I killed my guy.
What?
Exactly.
Another boss.
I know.
51.
Keeping this. No, I'm not. Yeah, I am. Fuck. No, I can't even do it anyways.
You can't even fucking ultimate stride. Need 2 counterblasts.
Oh, no, I'm good though. Oh, no guard.
Skill.
Hostile.
Bind that bitch.
I don't have to.
Bind it. Don't misplay. Bind the card. Girl, you have 1 face up.
I'm gonna have 2 face up.
Exactly.
But I don't have to buy.
You can put it somewhere else and tell it to have fun.
Fine. Fine, Iggy. Gosh.
You're the spike master.
But I didn't have to bind it. I could have tucked it back anyway.
No.
Bind it. Now put it. Now put it in charge.
Counterblast?
Now put it in charge. Put it in charge.
I'm trying to think about good plays.
Put it in charge. What are good plays? Stop good plays.
Put it in charge.
Put it in charge. Charge.
Not charging.
Charge.
We're now banned from streaming.
We're not banned from streams.
No guard. First.
Hey, it ain't a
Why
crit.
should get 2 triggers on
Ain't a
his
crit.
3 drive checks?
We made it. Hey, it ain't a crit. Hey, it ain't a crit.
It was and
It ain't a heal. Uh-oh.
PG.
I already used it.
Oh shit. You forgot the PG.
No, I have to give you 2. I was already attacking.
It's at the end.
At the end.
It's free as fuck. Damn, casuals. Let him live. It's One Punch Man.
Let me live. How much is it? I don't got enough. 1 damage?
Yeah.
Oh, we did it.
What the fuck?
so
Sorry, I'm scared.
I don't think I've ever even
I'll get banned.
Power
6
Vanguard.
weeks.
6 weeks. Power Vanguard.
he had a Tamio out, and I go, Wrangle? No, Wrangle.
You got 2 heals left. How much do you believe?
We'll both
How much do you believe?
You don't need 2 heals.
I'm like,
Bind.
sick, alright.
Call.
So good.
Let's get an additional 5.
Ain't hidden.
28, 36.
That's it.
38.
Wait, what?
One way or another.
Alright.
38.
Turns out on force.
That shit is fucking 43.
43.
Damn. Damn. 5K short.
That's why I'm like, wait.
Would it have made a difference? How much is that?
36.
36. So,
Oh,
wouldn't have fucking made a
you still need
difference.
15.
I need 25. I got 20.
Just ponder.
Damn.
I know, but like, it was just ponder.
Man, if you had that PG.
Oh my god.
If you had that PG, you would have won.
If I had that PG, I would have won.
What was your next turn gonna be?
A stride fodder.
GB3.
A stride fodder into.
Would have been 70k, 1 trigger pass.
Hey, got me.
Oh. It would have been into 2 PGs.
All right, guys. You guys have a nice night. We're heading out.
Hey, get out of here.